Hey, what's up, YouTube? Today I'm going to react to Swishout. Kevin Durant couldn't have been more wrong about this. So obviously he probably want to be talking about Kevin Durant leaving the Golden State Warriors, bro, for the Nets and Kyrie, which so far seemed like a terrible decision that we see so far, because you left the Golden State Warriors where you were winning chips to like the Brooklyn Nets, and they are so dysfunctional, and your second best player barely plays, and he's a part-time NBA player. So hey man, let's see what Swishout got to say in this video. Luka, James Harden, Russell Westbrook.
These
LeBron.
are the usage rate leaders by year in the last 10 NBA playoffs.
Damn.
And these are
Luka
the
3
results
times
of every single player
Three
to actually utilize that style. 3 years ago, Kevin Durant decided to leave the most perfect style of basketball I've ever witnessed for a style that he really just left. According to Draymond, during that little Hamptons pitch they had to KD prior to him actually joining, KD was adamant about simply playing good basketball again. Clearly, he didn't think him and Russ, they didn't represent that. Bro,
obviously,
in the last 3 games,
they didn't win no chips.
KD played with Russ. And we know that was the last 3 losses in that 3-1 meltdown, right? In those last 3 games, he and Russ combined for 157 total shots. The rest of the team shot 109. That's damn near 50 more shots than the rest of the team from 2 guys.
That's
he
crazy.
wanted to leave that because we know heavy isolation basketball plateaus in the playoffs. And we've seen it time after time after time. In both his championship runs with Golden State, his shots were sliced while his efficiency spiked. He goes to Brooklyn, almost seemingly working backwards, and he finds himself back in a very familiar situation. But remember when he left Golden State and said this about Steve Kerr's offense? And now that very same offense is back in the finals without him. So was he right, or was he extremely wrong?
Hey, obviously he wrong, bro. Obviously he wrong.
Today's video is brought to you by...
Sorry, Swishout, man. I ain't getting paid. But shout out to you, bro. Use his promo code Swishout, bro.
But when Steve came in, I mean, he's like, move the ball, move the ball. Like, I'm watching Steph Curry going to mixing someone. He's like, pass the ball, pass the ball. I'm like, yo, no, he has to get the shots. Like, so I asked him, you keep telling us to swing the ball, but how's Steph Curry and Klay going to get shots? Because every time we get the ball or somebody starts dribbling, you're yelling, swing the ball. Those are the guys that have to get the shots. And he said, the ball will always find the guys who's supposed to get the shots.
That's beautiful.
Even though they're fans, irritates the hell out of me at times, mainly because you can't critique them at all. You say one thing wrong about them, you are the devil. I still love Golden State's style and Steve Kerr's logic offensively. The ball
I
will
love their
always
offense.
find the right place. When KD left Golden State, he said this about Steve Kerr's system. The motion offense we run in Golden State only works to a certain extent. We can totally rely on our system for maybe the first 2 rounds. Then the next 2 rounds, we're going to have to mix in individual play. We got to throw some teams off because they're smarter in that round of the playoffs. So now I have to dive into my bag deep to create stuff on my own. Off dribbles, ISOs, pick and rolls.
It's funny how you say this and then go to the Brooklyn Nets, and that's literally all you got to do, since the Nets have no system at all, bro. So it's like during the start of the playoffs, bro, KD gotta go deep in his bag automatically, nigga. Just him doing ISOs, pick and roll, everything, nigga. Everything.
So then let the offense create.
The ball gotta be in KD's hands majority of the whole goddamn time.
Reading that to trash KD
or Kyrie's hands, man.
Wrong. I've always said in the playoffs, you need players with half-court bags that can create something out of nothing.
That's facts.
What a lot of these games come down to. Look at Miami
right
now. But the notion
that
offense plateaus in the first 2 rounds, even though it may have some validity to it, I don't think that's 100% true. And it's proof to back that up against KD. The San Antonio Spurs in 2014, a team that actually beat Kevin Durant in the Western Conference Finals. This was a team that played some of the most beautiful basketball I've ever seen, and truly, they didn't have a player that played like a superstar dictating the tempo or playing heavy ISO ball at all.
Yeah.
That season, the Spurs led the league in assists per game, just like the
Spurs
Warriors
never
this
was
year.
about like
In the finals, where they were supposed to plateau,
ISO ball.
they out-assisted Miami by 51 assists. This led to the Spurs beating Miami by a record margin, 14 points per game, which also led to the Spurs setting the record with the highest field goal percentage in NBA Finals history, while Tony Parker led San Antonio in scoring with the fewest points per game of any leading scorer on a championship team. Miami was heavily reliant on LeBron pretty much being the system amongst himself, and ultimately that plateaued.
Yeah.
San Antonio had almost 6 players with at least a 20% usage percentage. For those who don't know, that pretty much represents how much you have the ball in your hands. San Antonio had their main 6 guys all around the same percentile. Meanwhile, look at Miami's. It was just LeBron, Wade, and the rest, literally. And Wade wasn't even good in that series. So bringing it up to this year, Kevin Durant, when you really look at it, he went backwards to the style he desperately wanted to get away from.
Yeah.
In all 3 years he played with Golden State, they either led the playoffs or were second in assists per game. So even when he had his heroic moments, the system/shield behind him put him in that position. So let's look at Kevin Durant's last 2 years in OKC, and let's look at his last 2 years in Brooklyn. In 2014, as I explained, OKC lost to the Spurs, a team that led the league in assists and ultimately won the championship with a very pass-centric style. Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant combined for a total of 245 shots in that series. That's a lot of damn shots between just 2 dudes. They literally outshot their entire team, which can work, but you have to be LeBron, Kyrie unconscious in 2016, which they weren't. Then their following playoff loss, they lost to another team that emphasized the importance of the ball finding the right place with a very pass-centric style again in Golden State. Sure, OKC's talent worked at first, and they did get a commanding 3-1 lead. And yes, Golden State, they needed heroic effort from their star pieces. But ultimately, OKC's one-dimensional, isolation-based style hit the wall, and they blew a 3-1 lead. In the first 4 games, in which they actually led 3-1, Russ and KD combined for about 42 shots a night. Still pretty high, but it's understandable given the surrounding talent they had. In the next 3 games, where they lost all 3, that 42 went all the way up to 52, where Russ was shooting like 25 and KD was shooting like 27 shots a night. Like I said, if anything, that style plateaus, and it's been proven time and time again. Now, let's look at the recent 2 years in the playoffs with Brooklyn. In 2021, they lost to Milwaukee, and I'm not even going to fake like I didn't pick Brooklyn and I didn't feel like the injuries to Kyrie and James Harden, that impacted the series. I thought Brooklyn would have won that series. I did. But it's almost like the basketball guys heard KD and gave him exactly what he wanted. Kevin Durant played one of the greatest series I've ever witnessed. Like, tough shot after tough shot. He damn near won it by himself.
Facts.
But as he explained on JJ Redick's podcast, it played right into Milwaukee's game plan.
Their whole plan was like, well, KD can't beat us by himself, so let him just go crazy. We're going to lock everybody else up. So they were a little loose on their coverages. Left me one-on-one sometimes. They planned and dropped the whole game. It was just like...
Bro, he almost beat him.
Well,
Dolo.
I made 17 of my 23 shots because I just felt like it was a regular season game as far as the coverage on defense. And then they ramped it up a bit after that, but I felt like they underestimated us that game.
We had a playoff game, and he kept trying to score. And he was scoring, but we weren't getting anything going. Phil Jackson said, "Who's open?" He said, "John Paxson." I want you to trust your teammates early. What you're doing is you're getting to the rim, and then you're trying to hit them. I want you to trust the first guy, and then move. Still attack, still look to score, but trust these guys, okay?
But nothing proves what he said about Steve's offense more wrong than this year. And bro, I'm not a KD hater. I met his mom. I love KD. I met his mom and his brother twice. We're from the same area, all that. It just feels like some type of ironic-ass karma this year for some odd reason for the comments that he made that came off as a little bit of shade to Steve Kerr. That's it. I'm not a player, so clearly he knows way more basketball than I ever will. And I do believe his comments has a lot of truth to it, as I said in the beginning. But again, Golden State specifically this year, they've proven the opposite to be right so much more than not. The playoffs this year, look at the top 4 players with the most ISO possessions. Obviously, Giannis, I'm not even talking about him because, I mean, that's for obvious reasons. Yeah. But the rest, they're all at home. The Nets essentially played 2-man, your turn, my turn basketball with KD and Kyrie. And even Udoka's defensive game plan just
Bro, the Nets don't have no system, bro. This is why I don't know why KD and Kyrie signed off for Steve Nash to be their head coach. It's like, bro, you don't got no system or game plan for your team, bro. And these niggas, bro, I don't know why they agreed for Steve Nash to be their damn coach.
Mean,
Shit makes no sense.
KD every time he crossed half court with like
Udoka, bro, outcoached Steve Nash by far.
And making the others beat them, which didn't
But
happen.
then the Nets also
KD
didn't have
the
the talent,
in that
so.
series, and he had the ball in his hands the most out of any player that played in the series, and that allowed them to be the only team that didn't have a win in the entire playoffs. Like, again, that style is
they the only team? That's crazy.
The one that plateaus. Now let's look at Golden State. Bro, doesn't it feel like in almost every other win that they've had, it felt like the theme was always another player. Like Jordan Poole one night, then it's Steph, then it's Klay Thompson, then it's Wiggins, hell, then it's Looney. Like,
then it's Otto Porter. It's
like turn.
Facts.
Against Dallas, a team that, let's not forget, they were great defensively in the regular season. Top 6 in defensive rating, top 4 since January 1st. And a team that held Phoenix to under 100 points in 3 straight games. Could have been 4. And every single win against Dallas for Golden State, 5 players or more scored at least 10 points. And 3 out of 4 times, 6 players scored at least double digits. As a team, they averaged almost 30 assists a night. And no one averaged even over 24 points. That series was almost identical as San Antonio, Miami in 2014. That's crazy. The system is the foundation. I'm going to wrap this video up with this. You know how Golden State played Memphis tough with Ja, and when Ja went down, it was like Memphis, they damn near got even tougher. I remember after they got toasted that night, losing by damn near 50, Draymond said something that really stood out to me. He basically said a lot of their struggles is because they're playing a drastically different team. Like, you went from playing this ball stopper, isolation-based player that pretty much does a lot of stuff off dribble, isolation style and all that, to now we have to cover the entire floor because everybody is pass-friendly and pretty much everybody eats. That stood out to me so much because that explained exactly why they were 20-2 at some point without Ja. Like, even if they don't have the schematic plays of Steve Kerr or the shooters of Golden State, when you have a team playing so coherently, that can be a tough-ass assignment for a defense. All 5 of them have to be engaged. So like I said, with Kevin Durant's statement, I partially agree, and I definitely see where he's coming from. But it's like this year specifically, Golden State, they're debunking that. And if they play Boston, who I think they will play, and if they beat Boston, the team that swept Kevin Durant and Kyrie,
oh, that'd be nasty.
They just trashed that statement. And Steve Kerr's offense, you got to give it his props. If you guys like this video, make sure you guys like the video.
Bro, I swear, that'd be a nasty narrative, bro.
I got inspired to make this video when I seen Stephen Curry win that MVP, Western Conference Finals, whatever that's called. When he won that, and he only averaged 23.8 points, and everybody on the team ate. I was like, damn, bro, I remember when KD said that in 2019. That don't seem like that's facts right now. Everybody's eating and they're in the finals without that.
But it's crazy what this KD narrative probably going to be. If the Warriors win, but the KD narrative is going to be crazy.
Turn on post notifications. Do all that great stuff, guys. And until next.
Bro, the narrative is going to be crazy because people already thinking like, you know, KD would have never won championships if he never went to the Warriors or whatever. You know, he already joined like a fucking force already, right? But it's like, bro, if these niggas win after Kevin Durant as well, bro, it's like, goddamn, bro. KD about to get so many more hits, my nigga, because, like, bro, niggas won before you got there, and they won after you left, my nigga, on some shit. And it's like, goddamn, KD. Like, damn, bro. And look, you left the Warriors, and you on the fucking Nets, and they can't get their shit together. But it's like, bro, it's crazy, bro. Bro, this shit is fucking crazy. I think KD would have won a fucking ring already, for sure, if they kept the original, you know, people with, you know, Dinwiddie, fucking Jared Allen and shit. But they gave that all up. They gave all they def for fucking James fucking Harden, and that nigga turned into a fucking, you know, a fat slob, bro. He turned into a fucking fat slob. But hey, the fucking Nets is just a fucking mess. But hey, the Warriors on to the finals, and it'll be interesting. The finals definitely going to be interesting, man. The Warriors versus Celtics. Going to be a fun little series. But, like, comment, subscribe. If you guys anything else to interact, we know down below in the comments. But check out the next one.